Hi, this is Diana Mikowski, the massage mentor. I don't know if I've ever been this excited to have someone on my computer screen. We have Mukti in the house, Micheal Buck, who I'm a huge fan of. I've been waiting this day, I feel like, since 2004 when I took your class, honestly. I can't even believe that you're here. So thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me. Yes, you're as beautiful as I remember you, and it's all your pictures that I see online. So for those who might, there might be like 2 people out of the 1,100 people on this page that may not have heard of you. For those people, Micheal, could you just tell us a little bit about your journey in body work and then how it's all evolved for you? Could you go all the way almost from the beginning to how many people you've taught over the years in like a few minutes? Do you have that one down yet?
Yeah, I'm happy to, Diane. Diane, is it possible that I could say a prayer to begin this with?
Oh my.
This is a prayer to, it's the Vedic Conservatory's formal prayer that we begin every class with, and it's acknowledging the lineage. In other words, it's actually part of your lineage also because you took my course. So if you accept that initiation and not that it was just a course, then a lineage is a line. So it would be, in Thailand, it's called Wai Kru, which is where, for example, the director of a school will go outside, gather the local flowers, gather the local weeds, stand in front of a statue of their deity, whether it's Jivaku Kumara, whoever it is, and they will pronounce everybody's name in the school, all the teachers, everybody in the village who maybe is not feeling well, and this goes on traditionally. And I've been doing that, for a long time now also. So anyway, it goes like this. It's just recognition of Tara and the goddess Tara and the god Dhanvantari, who's the medical incarnation of Vishnu. And I know it's a bit woo-woo and kooky, but I do.
Oh, I love it. That's why you're here.
Yeah. So we can, the Namaskar mudra is where you fold your hand like this, but you bend your index fingers like that, and then you take your thumb and you hold it like that. You see? But it goes against your chest like the other ones. So it's Om Namo Bhagavate Mahasudarsana Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amruta Kailasasteya Sarvabhaya Vanasya Savaroka Nivaranaya Trilokya Pate Tilokinitaye Shima Vishnu Sarup Shri Dhanvantri Sarup Shri 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 Avashata Chakra Narayana Swaha. And we can chant Om together. Om.
This is the best day ever. This is the best day ever, seriously.
So your question is, you want me to do what?
I was wondering, it's been such a long journey for you, and I cannot imagine all the stories, and maybe we'll get a couple of them today, but I just feel like when you first started to how you got here now, there was just Micheal Buck all by himself with those great hands and that great being just floating around the world before any of us knew you. Like, what was that like, and then how did you get here?
Just tell me one thing, is my head getting bigger on screen also, or is it just...
I'm going to get it as big as I can get it before we're done. I adore you. You've been really cool to watch.
Yeah, I love the art. I think I love the art because I've just seen what it's done for a lot of people with their health and their spirit and their emotions. And, but excuse me, I don't know how, I came out of Hare Krishna. I was working the streets as a Hare Krishna from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. for months, if not a year or two straight, before I became a cook for the organization. And so when I left the movement, I really just needed some low profile, something that really meant something to me, because when I was working the streets, I was going in and out of stores, many businesses, and realizing that, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do this. And then I realized, what can I do? So massage therapy was an excellent choice for me. And that was 1984. I graduated the Swedish Institute. 1985, I graduated the Ohashi Institute.
Ohashi! Yeah. He's going to be with us next week.
What's that?
He's going to be with us next week.
Oh, send him my love. I'm trying to bring him. Not trying to. I want to bring him to Florida and to present the class also.
Ooh, that would be great.
I just don't know if I get all my students to wear white gis for that.
He's very, yes, that's what you have to, yep.
So, yeah, that was that. Ohashi Anma Institute, David Palmer's school. You know, he designed the first massage chair and brought it into Apple computers way back in the day. That was in the 80s. And then I went on to be the level 3 instructor for International Thai Therapy Association and with Anthony James. And I have actually, a matter of fact, Anthony and Richard Gold were two of the people who brought Thai into this country. I have Richard coming March 20th to the 24th. He's going to join me in my class down here, a 5-day course.
Ooh.
I have Ananda Applebaum coming also, another legend in the art.
Ooh.
A few others, and they're going to be presenting with me in this 5-day. Yeah, it's going to be exciting.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that was really the beginning for me, and just did private practice for 17 years. My little studio over by Cranberry, New Jersey, and then I had clients starting to come back, you know, 2 and 3 times a week, and then I had to get really creative. So I found myself drifting over into territory that I wasn't really secure with, though it was effective. And then that's when I found Thai body work, and you know, when you study with the teacher, one of the benefits is that it becomes, you know, sanctioned. You know, okay, now it's authorized, and now you feel confident.
So, how did you really evolve the Vedic Conservatory? I mean, your technique is your technique. I mean, it's based off a lot of different things, but you've really embraced it and made it this really beautiful. I've seen it referred to as the martial art of body work, and it's true. It's beautiful. I know when I took your class, for me as a massage therapist, you're like, you know, you do a lot of massaging and just rubbing. And then I was watching you like pick people up and move them around and talking about meridians and chakras. And I was like, thank God, you know. So your bodywork technique is well advanced. And could you just tell us a little bit about how all that came into fruition and you kind of made it your own?
Yeah, of course, it's one of the first things I say in class, that let's not call this just Thai bodywork or Thai yoga massage. Let's include the word Vedic. I needed a big umbrella to put it under, because I wouldn't be authentic if I was saying that I'm teaching just Thai because of my background. But then I was blessed, because when I went to Thailand my first time, 1996, I brought a big group there, about 19 people. I looked around and I saw that it was Vedic. They had Ramayan depictions everywhere, of course, their rendition of it. And I knew from my studies that that was Vedic. So I feel very confident and genuine about presenting as Vedic Thai. And then I included, you know, the marmas, chakras, nadis, koshas, doshas into the anatomies. And yeah, like you say, and thank you. I appreciate you appreciating that it is, at this point, it must be an original, because there isn't one category. I have a strong background in Swedish. I have a strong background in Asian bodywork. So I'm happy putting it under the Vedic. And Ayurvedic now is becoming more and more popular anyway. A lot of people are enjoying, you know, the herbology and the gemology, the numerology, the talismans, you know, all that is, you know, facets on the Vedic jewel, isn't it, really?
Mm-hmm. And that's one of the things that I love, is I love listening to you talk, because you really do, as you're teaching a class or you're on your videos, you really blend everything together really nicely. From you know, the anatomy standpoint to the meridians to all of it. And I have it written down here. You know, you call chakras dormant reservoirs of biospiritual power when they're congested. Can you tell us, like, what does it look like? What do you feel when someone has a congested chakra, or as you call it on your website, which I love, a dormant reservoir of biospiritual power? I mean, that's why it's just so, it's like poetry. It's like your work.
I just hope the more scholarly people appreciate how I maybe tear this stuff up a little bit, but
it's great.
You know, you and I are conditioned. 98% of all the knowledge in the Vedas, and the Vedas are quite voluminous. 98% of all of that knowledge is asking you and I to become deconditioned from politics, intellectualism, finances, religion, culture, environment, and my favorite, family conditioning. And so even looking beyond life and death, even looking beyond male and female, though, of course, we have to honor those costumes. And so the areas in our body, whether it be the shoulder, which is called Kakshadhara, maybe it's Urvaskandha, maybe it's Amsa, maybe it's Stapna, maybe it's Hridaya, maybe the knees are Janu, the ankles are Gulpa. These areas have become congested with, again, these various conditionings. If you and I were brought up in Iraq these last 10 years as a child, we have different.
At 71 degrees in Delray Beach.
Okay, it's nice.
Partly cloudy skies, then rain starting in the afternoon. Temperatures are heading down from 71 degrees this afternoon to 66 tonight.
Okay.
It sounds nice there.
Weather report, I never heard that before, actually.
Perfect weather.
And so these areas in our body have become congested and preventing us from experiencing more of who we are. And Ayurvedic medicine, that more is actually traditional anatomies, such as your koshas and your doshas and things. You have 5 radiating sheaths around your body that we can see when we slightly, make our vision a little bit softer and maybe even cross our eyes a little bit. You can see the radiating sheath. And when you're trained, you can see which areas are congested or maybe which areas are too open also. And so these techniques are really meant to bring us back to what's called primordial resonance. And primordial resonance, again, is who is you and I before all the conditioning? What was your shoulder like before the conditionings of your environment, your culture, your education all set in and created us to stand a certain way, to walk a certain way, to be a certain way.
Hi, I'm so excited. Okay, I have another question. One more question on that realm, because the nadis. I love how you describe those too. Electromagnetic meridian pathways. So you're not just dealing with chakras, you also get into meridians a little bit too, which I love. And like I said, I love your language. It's great.
Like planet Earth, Mother Gaia, she has her latitude and longitudinal lines. She has her oases, and is that a word, oasis? Mountains, deserts, forests, jungles, and that's why various parts of the bodies are called that. But so these channels, again, they are, acupuncturists say what's flowing in the channel is, chi, shakti, pran, spirit, so on and so forth. I feel what's also flowing in there is predominantly consciousness. So if we can address consciousness within these channels and view it as that, experience it as that, then we have the opportunity to really bring change and even miraculous healing to the person if we interpret it and sensitize ourselves to it being more than just some kind of material element, but really consciousness and spirit.
And one more thing about some of your wording is IID, because this is something introduce, investigate, discover. To me, there's so many massage therapists now. There's so many body workers versus when I took your class in 2004. It's gone like right. So I really like this concept, and I think it's one I'm going to repeat many times. So can you just tell us a little bit about what IID means?
And thank you so much for doing your homework also. IID is a concept called introduce, investigate, and discover. So the most important lesson that I can ever teach in any of my classes is to have your first few passes or your first few applications be nonchalant, uneventful, productively unproductive. And in that way, we're not becoming presumptuous. We're not forgetting about broken bones, bruises, scar tissue, recent surgeries, genetic limitations. We're not going directly for the most intense focus. And in that way, one of the side benefits, amongst others, is that you gain their trust. And that reduces our workload tremendously, by gaining their trust. And so that's one of the things we want to do quite a bit, So ID, introduce yourself first, la-di-da, and then investigate, yeah, and then discover, then go for the target, the precise penetration and so on and so forth.
Okay, so now I'm going to ask a couple little more personal questions.
Uh-oh.
I just want to know, like, you always carry yourself so beautifully, and no woman looking at you right now is not saying, oh my God, he's so handsome. So I just want to know, like, what can you give us one embarrassing moment that you've ever had teaching, or when I first did my first interview, I was a nervous wreck. Now, and with you, I'm a little nervous, but you get more confident with the years. I mean, now when you teach a class, it's like anything else probably. But in the beginning, is there ever anything that sticks out that was embarrassing or hard or that you had to overcome?
I think, as a teacher in the early years, you say a lot of things, even though your intent is to be very precise with your instruction. You say various things, and then afterwards, you realize maybe you've hurt the person's feelings and something like that, So I think that would be probably my most embarrassing. And there's been several of those, because my intention is never to hurt anybody. I had a father who was he taught, let's say, a little bit different than being passive. Okay, so you will never find one molecule of that in my classes where there's intimidation or anything like that. So there's been plenty that have ever farted in class. There was one time only. I can say that there was just one time, and we all had a good laugh about it. And but thank goddess that there was only one time that happened. Okay. Another time I was with a friend in Tennessee. I was doing something called dragon jaws. She was in prone position, face down. I was about to do a cobra with her, which you pull them up into a cobra, her up into a cobra. But previous to that, you do this motion where you put your hands like that and in their lumbar, and slice them in half. You come up off your knees and slice them in half, and sure enough, you get the physical, what's called anartha in Sanskrit, the unwanted response. And so she did the same thing. But yeah, I mean, next time you interview me, perhaps I can think of some others that are.
But that's one of the things too, for me, honestly, that I liked about your classes. In the Thai body work, we did do some pushing on the stomach, and it was natural. I mean, around the whole class, people were letting go of things. And I think too, that's just like a natural thing for the human body. So that's one of the things too that I love about your work, is that it's very natural. It does bring out these natural movements in air.
Yeah, I love working on the belly too. I consider myself a specialist in the belly procedures, but you got to come back and take some of these classes. You're going to be amazed at how far it's evolved. Everything is presented now in a way which is really quite acceptable.
And then on the other extreme, what are some of the things that you get the most joy out of over the years? Things that have made your heart smile. I mean, you have gotten to see a lot of the world. You've gotten to I always figure when I give a massage, right? They go home, they see their wife, they're nicer to their wife, and then their wife might be nicer to the kids. We have this great, huge effect. Now, you've been in the 20s of thousands of body workers, right? You've taught a lot of body workers. I mean, what is it too that you feel like you get back from all that you give out?
Unabashedly to, attract more students to the course. Yeah, now it's 14 countries with probably about 30,000 initiates.
That is awesome. Congratulations. Congratulations. Yeah. That is just amazing. I hope you know how amazing that is.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I was trained pretty well in Hare Krishna to realize that there's no such thing as retirement. We got to be strong. We got to get stronger, and we got to stay busy. And so I have to give my blessings to where blessings come from. And so I think one of my biggest joys is seeing the miracles. And there have been a few. Every class we give, we have a closing circle, and sometimes these closing circles are just a pool full of tears. because of whatever this magic is that's been following this art around. And so I'm quite proud of that, actually. But yeah, it's just really the power behind the art. Just seeing the miraculous healings and lifestyles that take place also. But next time we interview, I'll write down a couple of the more specifics, and if one comes to mind, I'll share it with you for sure, Diane. Thank you.
So I don't want to keep you too long. So
Okay.
I have one. I have one too that I love when I hear you. And this is something for me over the years where I've been like, ugh, when people are, they say I'm a healer. Can you talk a little bit about that as far as, when you talk about people being healers or the word healer, can you tell us your viewpoint on that a little bit? Because I really like when I've heard you speak of that in the past.
In Ayurvedic philosophy or understanding, there are 8 elements that are before our eyes this very moment. There's earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and then there's ego. And so the ego is a very, very clever and crafty energy. And so when a person is unaware of what's called ahankara or false ego, there is a healthy ego. Then there's that other ego, which is well known in meditative community. It's called ahankara. And so when you see, our clients or, even myself, I did this, or, oh, look at my healing. It's a guaranteed crash and burn. It's a guaranteed future embarrassment, because in all situations, there's always going to be the inclusion of the supreme being or the supreme energy, the universal force. And in my tradition, it's actually a person. And to claim that, oh, look what I did, is honorable. And yes, you are a significant contributor to it. But ultimately, we need to recognize where it came from. And so I just like to, talk about the ego sometimes, and make sure that we put the spotlight of awareness on it, so that we can see what it is, and that way, if we transcend the influence of the ego, of course, now there's unlimited benefits. There's unlimited miracles, and not just the ceiling, the inhibitions that the ego imposes on us.
Right. That is so awesome. Okay, so I just want to ask you if you have anything today that you would like to leave us with, and it sounds like you're willing to come back and talk to me again. Is that right?
Well, really, I want
to get it recorded. So are you willing to talk with me again, do you think?
Yeah, I love it. Are you kidding?
Woo!
You are amazing. Everybody must think that you are the most amazing person, and I'm having a very good time being with you too, Diane, right now. So I don't really want to go, to tell you the truth. But anyway, not really. It's come and attend the classes. I'm doing my best, pedaling as fast as I can to get this education out and to empower our wonderful art. Massage therapy. It used to be low man on the totem pole, and now it's equal to any other medical modality out there, including psychiatry and surgery. Massage is just as valuable. So we have to open our hearts to that responsibility now. And I like to be a part of that in people's lives.
You are definitely a part of that in people's lives. Like I said, I've been watching you for years. I just want to say I'm completely honored. I can't wait to talk to you again. And I put your website up on the bottom of the screen so everybody can catch up with you. If you have not taken a class with Micheal Buck, you are missing out. I can't tell you how much you'll grow as a body worker. Just one, being in his presence. 2, you get to look how handsome he is. 3, his techniques are just incredible. You will love it. So I again, thank you very, very much for taking the time for me today and taking the time with everybody. It was a huge, huge honor. And I will definitely be in touch with you. And I've got to get down to take one of your classes soon.
Thank you, Diane. Thank you.
All right, everybody. Thank you very much. We're going to end it here.